Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega here with my lovely co-host, Sarah Levine. How are you, Sarah?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. You know, I felt like I was a little depressing last time. That's my bad, you guys. Um, better. I'm better.
We got to bring the energy. We got to get out of the corona crankiness. We've got to feel the vibes. And you know what, guys? I know I say this every week, but truly, we got one heck of an ep today.
We do.
I mean, this is a juicy ep, people. But Sarah, I got to tell you, I actually have pretty much thought of you every day since like Friday.
Oh my God, I'm touched, but what did I do?
Oh, you're going to love it. You're going to love this. So I started playing this new video game. I got tired of killing people in Grand Theft Auto, and I thought I'd love to kill people in a different environment. And I started playing this older game. It's called Far Cry, and the whole premise of the game is that a part of Montana, rural Montana, has been overtaken by cultists. So every time these cultists yell some shit at me, I'm like, Sarah would love that. She loves a cult.
I do. What kind of do they yell?
They're just they yell "Sinner!" and then they shoot you with their assault rifle.
The power of Christ compels you, or whatever.
Yeah, I have some qualms with them. Like, they are clearly Christian, and the thing is, like, it's a blockbuster game. It's a huge game. I'm sure there's millions and millions of dollars spent on it, but they're just a little generic. So, like, the only kind of weird culty thing they do is they have like this love drug that they take, which makes them really hard to kill. But like, other than that, they're like kind of a super generic cult, and that kind of pisses me off. I'm like, give these people some character. Show me Rajneeshi. Let's do this.
Let's get some aliens. Get some pizzazz. I had done a deep dive into Heaven's Gate recently, and that shit was truly wild. So I'm with you.
Heaven's Gate was David Koresh. No, that was the Branch Davidians. What am I thinking?
I haven't gone into that one yet. Heaven's Gate was the one where they all they all like committed a mass suicide. They were wearing like the matching tracksuits and the Nike shoes.
Oh, that's Drink the Kool-Aid?
No, that's Jonestown.
Oh, that's Jonestown.
But in my head, I'm getting them confused because I'm like, I know they poisoned themselves. Oh, they drank vodka and took like benzos.
Oh,
was what they
weird.
did. Yeah, this is what I do in my spare time, you guys.
Is that a cult or my ex in high school?
I know, or is it just the sorority? Unclear.
Folks, we got one heck of an ep. As I said before, our second story of the day. AITA for leaving a movie I wasn't enjoying. But first, AITA for buying my fifth property rather than help out my siblings.
Wait, but actually first, shouts out to our newest Patreon members, Caitlin and Lara. Woo, thanks for joining.
Yes, and Sarah is pioneering a new effort, folks. We are bearing listener submissions on the Patreon. We need you guys to join us on the Patreon. So now we're playing games. If you want to hear the listener submish, AITA for not panic buying, you got to get on Patreon.
That's this week's. You'll hear that later this episode. But this, the bonus episode listener submish is AITA for expecting dinks to work more.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah.
And I especially love it because you emailed me and you're like, Danny, what's a dink?
I thought it was just like, you dink, like you dipshit.
You freaking dink.
I was like, who is this directed at? No, it's very pointed.
AITA for buying my fifth property rather than helping out the old siblings. For context, even when I, 44M, was a child, I was incredibly into owning property and designing houses.
What?
Okay, Craig.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry, but like, listen,
What?
We all would play The Sims just to make the houses. That doesn't make you into designing houses from a young age.
Ridiculous thing. I work as an architect and I'm doing quite well for myself. It's interesting he works as an architect, but
okay,
he doesn't identify as an architect.
I know you were not a child buying houses. Like, you played Monopoly. Get over it.
Yeah. Bought my first duplex here in Germany a long time ago where I rent out both part-time. Then I own 2 houses in Italy and 1 in Spain. 2 of them are getting rented out as holiday homes, while the last one I use for vacations and rent out a room to a friend of mine. So I have a lot of passive income at the moment, but only after a lot of time and money investments and refurbishing these houses. I rent in NYC at the moment as my job has made me move here temporarily. Weird move in these trying times, but sure.
Rough.
Hey, everybody, we're moving the company to New York City with
Yeah, right.
coronavirus. My brother, 40 AM, does an apartment. I guess that was has an apartment. He has a family with 2 kids, while my wife and I are childless. They are currently looking to purchase a house that fits all of them nicely. Well, they have found their dream house. It's out of budget for them. Meanwhile, my wife and I are about to buy our 5th house, this time in France. It's going to be one of our largest purchases yet, significantly larger than anything else we have done. It's a great deal on the property, however, and ideally what my wife and I want to retire in. When having a family FaceTime with my siblings and parents, I brought it up. Initially very happy for me, my brother mentioned how he needs a larger home for his family and how I should give up on this opportunity to give him money for his house and spend the rest on refurbishing their new home. I just
Huh?
laughed. I just laughed and said flat out no. Edit, thought this was a joke. I read that as a joke. This was apparently the wrong move. My entire family turns against me and starts berating me. After 10 minutes of them taking turns telling me to buy my brother a house, I said I'd think about it and left. I'm a bit of a pushover, so after talking to my wife, we agreed we could wait and buy their house and rent it out to them at no profit. Apparently, this was insulting to him, having his younger brother be his landlord, and my parents said I should just outright give him the money we've been saving. I told them to piss off and started moving forward with the paperwork on our house in France. After talking to my friends, they said I should put family first, and it's not like we are struggling for money. Now I'm confused. AITA.
This is like one of those situations that it seems so clearly NTA on paper that I'm wondering like what details this person might be hiding or not mentioning.
Yeah, that's a fair point because it does seem very obvious. I mean, I do want to come for OP on one thing. I don't necessarily think it's, I mean, it's his freaking brother. They're all adults, but like, you know, I've talked about this before, but I think being a provider, whether you're a man or a woman, is stressful and it's hard. And I do think that because stereotypically men are the provider, that's the stereotype, they can feel very inadequate. So I guess really the worst thing I could say about him is like this little statement about coming out and being like, yes, we're buying our 5th house. It just seems a little bit like not really empathetic, not really in tune. It's just,
Yeah, it's totally douchey
it's
to
douchey.
because when you know your brother is looking to find or buy a house and you're like, oh yes, well we are buying our 5th house in France. Like it's douchey. You don't need to be like this.
Yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but on the other hand, I don't really understand the picture he's painted, and I definitely see what you're saying because it's kind of like, well, so all this family's crazy and are just like, give your brother money, give
Yeah,
your
this is
brother
an
money.
insane request. They're not like, oh, your brother actually would really want that house, and if it's like for some reason wildly below market, like, oh, could you let him actually just put in an offer? It's like, no, you should buy him a house and then also furnish it for him. Like, why? What are they leaving out that this would seem like a reasonable request?
It just seems so crazy. I mean, I'm trying to think maybe like they have a bunch of kids, they're childless, so the parents are kind of like, what? You've got no, you're just indulging
I don't
essentially.
know. Are they like really poor? Like they've been dealt a really bad hand, like something terrible has befallen this family, like that they're kind of like, can't you do your brother a solid? Um, I really am wondering what's going on that the family would think that because they're all like banding together against OP. So I'm like, yeah, I wonder if maybe the brother and his family is poor, if they've been dealt a bad hand, if there was some kind of insane tragedy that befell this family, because I don't understand why the whole rest of the family is like banding together against OP unless they really all are entitled jerks.
Absolutely. And I think that's a perfect example of a time where I'd be like, A, be careful with what you say, don't be callous. And also, like, maybe you should help out, like their last house burned down or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Your last house burned down and your brother lost his job because he had a heart attack or something like that.
yeah, I mean, on the other hand, yeah, yeah. I mean, if there's death, if there's fire, I guess it is just it's really hard, and we're wired very American, but it's just kind of hard to be like, yo, give your family money, even if his kids are, not in an ideal situation or they're not in an ideal living situation, because it's kind of like, well, it's his money and you chose what you chose, dude. That's your path.
Yeah, that is a very American way to put it. I don't love that. I will say that this to me seems like a pretty unreasonable request. Like, I don't know, it's one thing to be like, "Oh, like I need help with the down payment." I got you, dude. Like that's and if OP didn't want to do that, I could see more of like a YTA type situation if he was being just like a total Scrooge. But the
Right.
request is so I don't know, it's kind of outrageous.
It's absolutely outrageous, and I actually thought it was a joke. It was a joke that flew. It's a classic entitlement joke.
Right. It's like, haha, yeah, just buy me my mansion and then also all the furniture. I would laugh too.
Ridiculous. Yeah, and also it is their dream house that they're after. It's not really merely like they need a house to have a comfortable life. This is their dream house.
Is
It's
it?
it's.
Wait, let me reread.
Don't they say dream at some point? Fits all of them nicely. I guess they
I
if they
guess
have
I'm
an
wondering, are they
apartment.
like over cramped in a tiny apartment?
It's
I
not.
don't know
He
what's
says
going on here.
apartment. Don Strong writes, NTA, while you could be super generous and help out, it's your money and your decision. Your family's behavior is the type that gives lower income people a bad rep.
Uh, I don't know.
It's, I don't, I
That might
just,
be
yeah,
biting off more than you can chew there. Like entitled
there
people.
we
I'll
go.
give it to you,
Everybody, come
Danny.
on.
I'll give it to you
Come on,
finally.
people.
You got me.
Somebody write this in blood. Sarah finally using my phrase. Golden!
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I think Don S is going there. Entitlement exists at every income bracket.
Aha! I love that.
But yeah,
Emma Michelle says, yes, you're the mega asshole. It's not your responsibility to buy your brother a house, but if not to spend on things you and your loved ones want to need, what's the point of money? Also, hoarding property makes you a shithead too.
okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's not. I mean, I don't know. Could we get super macro on here and like rail against the system of landlords and tenants? Like, absolutely. Is that kind of missing the point? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I really can't blame this guy. I mean, who doesn't want this life? You save up money and then you got passive income from your renters. I mean, it's not his fault that, the system is messed up and some people can never escape rent and da 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 da. Hoarding, I don't think this is hoarding. It's ridiculous.
I don't think it's hoarding because he's renting, but
No.
I guess to counter your argument, like no one should ever have like people don't have to apologize for their privilege, but what you should do is like try to find a way to work against it. So you could argue that like if OP is really like, yeah, well, I've just worked harder and been dealt a better hand and it's not my fault and blah blah blah, like okay, then you could throw your family some kind of a bone. Maybe not this crazy bone.
Right. Well, yeah. No, and you nailed it. If it was like, hey, can you help me with the down payment? We're really struggling. We're really uncomfortable. That's one thing. But furnish my dream home, that's a little bit
Yeah.
different. Lindsay N writes, NTA, sometimes the classic Stones song, You Can't Always Get What You Want, ends at that. So she references this edit on the post.
Ooh, I love an
This is
edit.
a pretty game changing edit. OP writes, edit, this edit is super late, but I want to clarify my brother does have money for a 4-bedroom house. He isn't broke, just not enough money for his dream house. The dream house is approximately double as expensive. Now we're getting to true
Now we're talking.
Americans. True Americans live beyond their means, baby.
Oh yeah.
Let your brother live the dream. Let him get in massive debt that is crushing him.
That would be savage.
With a subprime loan. That's America, baby.
That truly is America. Yeah, that's like honestly insane now. And definitely
I
makes me go into not the asshole territory because now it's like you're actually helping to not enable these people to put themselves into debt.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, this whole thing reeks. I love what you said. There's entitlement at every income bracket, 100%. And I see a lot of entitlement, at least in this version of the story. Max Bruno, our polyamorous previous guest,
Oh yeah.
writes, yeah, never felt more alienated from this group reading these comments. Oh boy. Yes, you're the asshole for not helping your brother's family move into a house when you can obviously afford it. The people on here saying you're not the asshole for refusing to get several of your family members one house they need when you have several more than you need already legitimately baffles me. I mean, I feel like
He's
that's a
not like
very
wrong, like it is baffling on paper.
I mean, when you put it that way, but it's sort of like if someone has five businesses and someone's like, I don't have any businesses. Can I have one of your businesses? It's like, well, no, they're mine. Like,
I
what?
mean, I don't know. I think honestly that the house could have honestly been one thing, but the furnishing really pushed me over the edge to
The
being
furnishing
like
is
no,
crazy.
to being
Sarah,
like
and
no.
this is such victim culture. This like, I want a bigger house, and this is so freaking America. It's just like I want. It's not even that he wants a bigger house. He's getting a bigger house. He wants a bigger dream, huge house. He wants a freaking 6 bedroom McMansion.
Yeah, I don't know. I also think like when you have people entitled people like this, if you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. If you give them a house, what are they gonna try to take next?
They're gonna take a mansion. Dave B responds to Max Bruno. Dave Bergman, also a previous podcast.
Ooh,
I feel the same way. And then he references the edit. So Dave Bergman was moved by the edit because look, this guy has he can afford a 4 bedroom house. Nobody feels bad for you.
yeah,
All your kids have their
no,
own room. Nobody gives a shit.
right.
Kelly S. NTA, renting to them at no profit is a great offer. Oh my God, it's an unbelievable offer. If your whole family thinks people should give him money, maybe the whole family should fund it, and you could also contribute rather than be the sole contributor. That's actually very reasonable. That's a good way he could turn this around and say like, if their request was more reasonable, and say, well, why don't we all pitch in and help Joey get the down
Right.
payment for the
Oh, they'd
four
start
bedroom?
balking real quick.
4 bedroom? No, no. We need 5 bedrooms and a swimming pool and a game room because my cousin has that and my neighbors have that. And if we don't have it, then we're losing the American dream. Top Reddit comment: Red, Black, Yellow Jam. NTA. You shouldn't have to pay for your brother's house. He should live within his means. Besides, money between family members can be a more dividing issue than most. No joke.
It's actually true. Yeah, I was honestly gonna say that being your brother's landlord, I really would not even go there. It just gets so dicey, I think, and sticky, and it's like I would just be in or out and like give them the money as a gift or not, but to make this ongoing like landlord tenant relationship, I wouldn't do it.
On point. I agree with that. Top dissenting comment on Reddit. Didn't have to look too
Hmm.
hard for this. Foucault Escapement writes YTA for sucking the wealth out of countries that aren't your own. I think we start to hit into this like kind of a leftist thing, but I was kind of curious at what this means. Somebody else wrote Asunta 7. I'm from a Spanish city where locals are getting effed by entrepreneurs like you. Maybe the same one where you're having your vacation house. Many Germans around pulling this kind of business. This may come from my personal struggle, but I hope they ban you all and give houses back to the neighbors. Now, I am willing to say that I don't know that I could call this guy an asshole, but it does frustrate me, and this is a problem in New York City that people buy real estate here as investment property, then they don't live in it. Sometimes they don't even rent it because it's almost not rentable or whatever. They don't want to bother. And then you just have empty apartments in New York, which makes New York worse for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. And then it just jacks up the price for
Yeah.
everybody, for like people like us who are living here. So, I mean,
But
I get it.
yeah, I don't think it makes you an asshole to play the game. I think that's ridiculous. I think you're an asshole if they're clearly trying to combat you And they are. They've placed restrictions and taxes and stuff, and you try to go around those and circumvent those. But look, this is it. This is the game. He's playing the property. He's playing Monopoly.
I mean, you know what? I kind of want to. I don't really have a problem with these people calling them out because maybe, honestly, like maybe no one has ever brought this to these people's attention, and like maybe they'll think twice. Maybe they probably won't, but like I don't know. Whatever. Shoot your shot. It's taking a left for sure on like the actual issue. Um, I don't know. I don't have a huge problem with it.
No, I don't have a problem with it. And I also think it's very easy to be like, he has 5 houses. But it's like the amount of work it takes to essentially flip a house, it's a shit ton of work. I don't want to do it. That's not the kind of guy I am. So like I think it's easy to get in this like, oh, the bourgeois, the property class, but it's kind of like, look, this guy worked his dick off. They all came from the same freaking family. I'm not coming for OP at all. I think that's
5 houses is a
ridiculous.
little crazy, but you could do
But
this kind of zoom out on any post we get here, and it's not gonna get us anywhere.
I kind of feel like calling them 5 houses is disingenuous. Like Bill Gates has 5 houses. This guy has 5 investment properties. He's not he's not necessarily super duper rich. Yeah, he's got a couple
He's
$1 million
probably
probably,
pretty
but
rich. I have no
yeah.
idea how any of this works.
Well, but I'm just saying it's
Like
not the
he's not
same as
Bill
someone.
Gates, but still.
It's well, he's not. It's not the same as someone who has 5 of their own houses. He has 5 income generating properties. It's like it's a big difference.
Isn't that even? That means he has more money because if you have 5 vacation homes, you're just using them.
But my point is, if that's his income, right? Like this is how he makes his income. He can't just have the houses. They're literally not available for him. They're
Oh,
income
I see what
generating
you mean.
properties.
He's a
So
landlord.
like, yeah, it's like he can just fly to whatever, Germany, France. Oh, we're in our vacation home. So anyway, I think we agree on this. AITA for buying my 5th property rather than help out my siblings. We agree. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. The family is.
AITA for leaving a movie. Wait, the family or the brother?
Well, the brother
I
and the
guess
whole family
everyone.
because they're backing him up.
That's true. Actually, I did have a final point, Sarah. You know what? I don't like. Here's the one thing I don't like. If you want to play the property game and rent out investment properties, that's fine. But and this person used the word entrepreneurs. Don't call yourself an entrepreneur. Don't even call
Yeah,
yourself a businessman.
yeah, bro. You
You
didn't start shit.
are you're a freaking house flipper, homie. You are a flipper, and that's all you get. You get your money, and you get the flipper term. Don't act like you're freaking creating wealth or value. You're doing nothing. You're a flipper.
Yeah, we'll give you real estate investor. I don't know, something like
Even
that.
that even seems like rounding up,
But
but
like
fine. I
entrepreneur is
prefer
like, all
flipper.
right, you didn't make a product, you didn't start a business,
Yeah.
you can't go on Shark Tank with what you've done. So therefore, I'm out.
Not the asshole, but definitely a flipper. AITA for leaving a movie I wasn't enjoying by you, movie theater throw. This happened before Christmas. It was brought up recently in a Zoom call between my SO and I. Oh gosh.
Crazy.
And the friends in the story plus some others, so they're having a big old Zoom time. My SO and his 2 friends wanted to go see a horror movie that had recently come out. God, now I want to know what it is.
Oh, I
I'm
know
not that
which
into
one.
what?
Black Christmas.
Oh, never
They
heard
said
of
it in a comment.
Oh, nice. I'm not that into horror, but he asked me to go, so I agreed to tag along. We bought tickets beforehand, and when we got into the theater, we were a little late. The movie hadn't started yet, though. And how was that late then? And there were lots of single seats, but only 3 seats together, not 4. I volunteered to sit in a single seat because they were the ones excited about the movie. Everyone was fine with that. That's heroic. I have to give OP a lot of credit for that. Single
Yeah.
writer in a movie? That's horrible.
In a movie you didn't even want to see. Like, I got it.
Ugh. The movie started and we got about a half hour into it and I wasn't enjoying it. So I texted my SO, hey, I'm not super into this and I have a few presents I still need to buy. So I'm going to go finish up shopping, have fun. I'll see you guys afterwards. Smiley face. Interestingly, OP does a smiley face, space, smile. And I think it's better. I don't usually do the space on the smiley.
Me either.
Kind of
I like
looks
it
like,
without it.
yeah,
It's cute.
you're the asshole if you put his face in your smiley. Calm the hell down.
Yeah, you're
I
also the
met them
asshole if
up.
you put a hyphen as a nose. Like, chill out.
Oh, seriously. We don't need to see your art, Candace. I met them up.
Candace. Someone named Candace really hurt you, I feel like.
It's just, I don't know. Candace bothers me. I met them up after the movie was over and we got food together. He was kind of cold to me. And after we ate, and when we were alone, he said I really embarrassed him. Okay, wait, I'm getting gender confusion. This is
OP, I think, is female with the
OP's
boyfriend.
female, and this is not SO that's mad, it's the friend, right?
No, it is SO.
Oh, SO is mad.
Yes.
Got it. It was really immature to walk out of a movie. His friends thought I was being really dramatic. He said the point of seeing a movie isn't sitting together, it's being able to talk about the movie afterward. And I made it so they had to feel bad about talking the movie in front of me and couldn't enjoy themselves as much. I kind of see his point. And I'm thinking maybe I should have just stayed just to share the common experience. It's true that it shouldn't really matter if you sit next to the person you're at the movies with because you're not going to talk anyway. Well, you can look at each other. But I was just not having a good time, and this was kind of squished between two people I didn't know. Still, maybe I should have just stayed because it was only a couple hours, and it's not a big deal, and then I could have joined the conversation. It's become kind of a joke among friends now. We said we were leaving the Zoom call to watch a movie, and they said, "Uh-oh, make sure OP doesn't run out of the door." AITA.
Uh, I mean, I think she was nice for even like sitting through it when she was gonna be by herself.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really it because if I think that's valid reason to leave right there. I would be like,
Yeah.
guys, like, and I don't know what this nonsense is about. You have to talk. Like, you can share emotions with each other without fucking talking. You just look at each other, you laugh
No,
together, you
what do you
cry
mean? They said
together.
after the movie they would talk about it.
No, no, no. I'm saying that they said, oh, it doesn't matter, right? They're trying to spin it like it doesn't matter if you didn't sit with us, but like, no, it matters because you can interact during the movie.
Oh, yes, I do. Especially in a horror movie. Sheesh, I don't want to be scared by
Absolutely.
myself.
Exactly. I'm grabbing people. I'll grab a stranger though. I'm not afraid of it, you know. But uh, on the yeah, I think that's it. Is that OP is ultimately exculpated because making your friend go single rider is like, yeah, leave then. I mean, that was such a gift.
Yeah, just be like, all right, I'll Venmo you for my ticket, but like, I'm out.
I'm out.
And they honestly,
Absolutely.
they're being so dramatic by being like, oh, well, now our experience is ruined because we can't talk about it without enjoying ourselves because you didn't see it. It's like, you can still talk about the movie. It's really not that deep.
Of course, I would totally do it. I'd be like, I know you weren't there. I'm sorry. We won't do this for too long. But oh my God, do you remember when the axe went into his brain and then the little monkey starts screaming? I don't know what kind of movie that is, but
One I would see.
Cat S writes, what? No, this isn't a thing. You don't have to finish a movie you don't enjoy. What are they paying you for a review? Lindsay N, hitting the nail on the head, writes, lowest stakes AITA post ever. NTA, weird that they would care so much, especially months later. People are allowed to not like things and decide to spend their time doing things they do like. Simple as that.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, in this context, but like, I guess I can envision a different situation, and this is why I was excited to talk about this because, like, you know, I like movies. I like movies. I love films. I love a good film, and I do think that you know, had OP been with in the party of seated with them, I would have a different answer.
I agree. Because
Especially if there
then
was
you would have to like disrupt their whole experience to leave, and it's like, just stay.
exactly, exactly. And I think the other component of that too is that like they're horror fans. Did they say that they're horror fans?
I
Yeah,
think
they
they did.
wanted to go. This wasn't just a movie. They like this was a process of the two friends were like, we want to go see this horror movie, so they're hype on the movie, right? Whereas if it was just like, yeah, let's go see a movie, well, let's go see what's playing, that's even less stakes. But like when people are invested in a movie, you know, I think you should try to match their energy, match their enthusiasm. And that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to, but you try to go with the flow. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's it. That's all I wanted to say is that had they not been excluded single rider, it would have been rude as hell.
Yeah, totally.
Larissa W. YTA for texting in a movie theater. I mean, okay,
I mean,
look.
how else? What was she supposed to do?
Yeah.
Just like completely ghost and have
Well,
the
she could have.
boyfriend think that she was missing?
I feel like Larissa's being pedantic. How do we even know that the OP texted? Did she say she texted in the movie
I
theater? Or she
mean,
gonna
yeah,
text?
she could have left the actual theater and then shot him a text like, "Hey, I left."
Yeah, I mean,
Whatever.
ridiculous. Lone YTA, only YTA on the Facebook group. Joy M writes, YTA, you accepted to see a film you had absolutely no interest in seeing. Well, I don't think that makes you an asshole. That makes you odd, perhaps, generally speaking. But uh, top Reddit comment, strike underscore match writes, NTA, this whole situation seems like such a non problem. You got your shopping done and they got to see a movie they were into and have each other to discuss it with. And honestly, I agree with the fact that you weren't even sitting together justifies your initial position even more. That's how I would handle this if I was OP. I'd be like, look, you guys can roast me all you want. You're the monsters who made me sit alone. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. These friends are super weird.
I think they're just roasting, oh, make sure OP doesn't run out the door. It's like, it's
Yeah.
roasty. It's a funny thing that happened. It was a weird thing. It's uncommon to walk out of the movie. I've only done it twice in my life.
I don't think I've
Um,
ever done it, but I wish I had one time.
I was such a good Catholic boy. I went to see Euro Trip as a young man. I was in sixth grade, and there was a lot of penises and stuff, and
Yes.
there was a lot of nudity. And I walked out. I felt guilty, and 1 year later, I was watching hardcore pornography. But there was a time when I was
For that
innocent.
brief point in sixth grade. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
And the other movie I walked out of was one of those like sci-fi movies. I forgot. It's some crazy. I don't know. It was terrible. It was unwatchable.
I love it.
You never walked out of a movie?
I don't think that I have. I'm trying to think.
Well,
I don't think so.
that's good.
Yeah, that's a good never have I ever. I'll try to keep that in mind.
Yeah, there you go. When next time you're playing King's Cup, I don't know why you're doing it. AITA for leaving a movie I wasn't enjoying. I'm gonna go no assholes here because I think the roasting is light. I don't see a lot of serious roasting. I mean, actually, I could call the friends asshole. I hate this thing of like, oh, you made us feel bad about talking about the movie. I mean, it doesn't really make you an asshole. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I could go between NTA or NAH. Like, I don't know. I think that they were kind of being annoying and like trying to make her feel put out for really no reason.
And she did them a favor. She took the
Yeah.
single writer.
And they should have been like, "Oh man, we're sorry that you felt so excluded that you literally left."
Yes, yes. So I think we'll split the difference, call it NTA NAH
Yeah.
remix.
Sure.
Now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, listener submissions.
Woo.
AITA for not panic buying. I'm a home healthcare worker. Part of my job includes grocery shopping for my client as she is housebound. I've worked with her for over a year and she knew that she would be a panic buyer. I went along with what she wanted at first, but after she already had 4 packages of toilet paper, I would start to lie to her and say the store was out because I knew that there were people who needed it more. At the same time, when I tell her the store is out of items, it makes it seem like the pandemic is worse than it is. Oh my God.
Ugh.
AITA for lying about the availability of a product when she has more than enough.
Mm.
Interesting. This actually, I think, invokes some pretty deep concepts. I mean,
It
on the
does.
one hand, it is just a white lie, but she nails it in her analysis, which is that it actually does make things seem scarier, and she's dealing with someone who is very afraid.
Yes, it becomes a vicious cycle when she introduces the lie.
You're right. You're right. It just gets worse. Then she's like making calls to get more toilet paper. I mean, it really depends how she plays it. Like, if I were her, I'd be like, they were out, but like, I could tell. You know what? I actually, as I was leaving the store, I saw a truck pull up. There was plenty more toilet paper there.
No, because
So
then
not
it's like,
there
well,
was...
you should have gone and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can't say that.
You should have stayed by the truck, get us a pallet, and bring it home, okay? I mean, I don't know. I think you could paint the picture if you're a clever enough liar, but in the end, it's always going to boil down to crafting this lie.
Which is such a, I don't know. As some people pointed out in the comments, which I appreciated, because this is pretty out of my own wheelhouse. Crafting an elaborate lie like this would ultimately just break the trust, which seems to be an integral part of this type of job.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the role is, but ultimately, I really can't come for OP because then the other side of this coin is that panic buying is bad because
Mm-hmm.
then nobody can get toilet paper because some psycho bought 500 rolls. Um, so I think OP's intent is so great.
I want to know how big these packages of toilet paper are.
I'd say there are at least 12 packs with two
Yeah.
people, one person who lives alone. I mean, come on, that'll last you plenty of long. Alejandra A writes YTA for lying to her. Just tell her she has plenty and the shelves are stocked full daily so she doesn't have to worry. The reason she wants more is because she thinks there isn't any more. I think that's a reasonable solution.
Yeah.
Mike G says, no, her care is your responsibility, not maintaining her paranoia.
So it
So he's
sounds like
saying not
he's,
the asshole.
yeah.
Randolph B, not the asshole. You, the real MVP, for not letting a hoarder rob others of a wiped ass. Very true. Very true.
I gotta interject here. Now I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but like, has anyone not been able to wipe their butt? I'm sure it's happened for some people, but nobody that I know has it been that dire.
I'm sure somebody somewhere couldn't get toilet paper and they went home and they were down to the old cardboard and they had to use a magazine or something, but I don't think there's
Yeah.
a widespread shortage of anything.
I think the
Um,
first few weeks in Georgia, I was talking to my friend, and they were cleaned out of toilet paper. Up here, we were more cleaned out of Lysol. But I don't know. Again, I don't think it was like he was like, "Oh man, gotta start using the dish towels." Like, I think it kind of got figured out before it got to that point, but who knows?
I mean, I'm a just take a shower guy. That's what I do. I take 7 showers a day. Denise S writes, YTA, why are you pooping 7 times a day? Don't ask questions.
I
Denise
was
S.
actually going to ask that.
YTA, you lied to your client. Doesn't matter why, you lied. If when she finds out, there will never be any trust between the two of you. I wouldn't want you in my house providing personal care if I couldn't trust you. Who knows what else you might be lying about? I mean, come on. There's such a thing as a white lie.
Yeah,
You
but like
know,
when you're in this kind of vulnerable position, when you have to hire a home healthcare worker, it's kind of the same thing as we talk about with the guy with the secret room. And it's not the lie itself, it's what the lie represents.
how dare you bring up the secret room? This is nothing
I
like the
fucking
fucking
love the
secret
secret
room.
room.
For you guys who don't know the lore, the secret room was a boyfriend who had a secret room in his apartment that he didn't tell his fiance, I believe.
At
Insane.
least his live-in girlfriend.
Yeah, we found him to be the asshole. I feel you. I mean, there is a potential trust issue here, but like, I think Mike G kind of hit the nail at least close to the head. It's maintaining her paranoia. I just feel like there is a common sense approach to this, which is just saying like, "Hey, I wasn't able to get any toilet paper. I think there's plenty. I talked to them, whatever. Just offer
Well,
up a."
I guess my question is like, why is OP's first instinct to lie? Like, why weren't they like, Gladys, you have 4 rolls, and I promise you that there's been toilet paper every single time I've gone to the store, and why don't we let the other people have it? Like, where was that convo?
Well, because maybe their vibe is that Gladys is just like, no, I don't care. I don't pay you to think. I pay you to get toilet paper.
So I would
You
like to
know,
have known that. That's actually kind of crucial to me.
I feel like Gladys is kind of a monster. I don't know, Sarah. I think it's not good to lie to your quote unquote clients, but I feel like OP is honestly doing the best thing for society. I agree, you're right though. She should try to confront Gladys, with the truth. That's it. I mean, that's the best way out
Yeah.
of this.
It's really like not the asshole for not panic buying, definitely not, but I don't okay, the thing is like these things the headline is never really what the actual issue is. Like no rarely have we ever had one that it actually hits at what the person is asking.
That's funny. AITA for not panic buying and lying to
So no,
Gladys.
you're not the asshole for not panic buying, but are you the asshole for telling this white lie to get out of panic buying?
I say no because I say the ends justify the means. She's got Gladys. Maybe Gladys is a little bit more paranoid. It's all about how you say things too, right? There's a big gap between, oh, yeah, the store was out, but I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And, if you were really saying that, you'd be like, oh, the store was out. I mean, there's just nothing I could do.
I don't know. I think OP also knows that what they're doing is not the right approach because they know that they've just created this cycle where every time they lie, it's just reinforcing the scarcity mindset.
I'm tempted to do another cop out and do a
Info?
NTA NAH remix. Info. Let's do an info
Yeah,
because
I'm sorry guys, I can't come to a verdict.
I feel like info is fair because we need to know who Gladys is. Because maybe if OP is doing the cardinal sin of internalized unassertiveness, they should have just leveled with old Gladys and said, listen, sister, people need the TP, not you. You got plenty, okay? If she could have done that, maybe that was a move, but we don't know if that was a move.
Yeah. The problem is
people
I
are
think
desperate.
that we got too annoyed that people would send these like sagas, like these epic novels. So maybe OP just really shortened it, which I appreciate, kept it very need to know. But now the problem is we need to know one more thing.
I think the other aspect of this too, with her not pushing back and not even risking it, is we live in a scary economy right now for a lot of people. So that could be another component. People they don't want to mess with anyone who's giving them money. They don't want
That's
to push
very
back,
true. That's
right?
a very good
So,
point. You don't want to lose your job,
not right now.
especially
No.
over some toilet paper. Woof.
Yeah. So we'll say AITA for not panic buying. A big fat INFO. Very rare, but it is happening, people. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Sarah, it's been great to do this.
It's been fun. It's having something to look forward to, and it helps me remember what day of the week it is.
That's one of the main reasons we started the podcast, just to know what day is it.
Just as a calendar.
Guys, please, 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 please rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. We'd really appreciate a rating. A 5-star rating would be ideal, but you could also maybe do 4 stars if you have some notes for me. Don't criticize Sarah. Come on, I'm worse than her. Give me a break.
That's so generous.
Please, also, guys, the Patreon. It's so great. We're really getting a community on there, and we love it. We love to see it. Please join us. We try to do our best for our patrons. And let me tell you this, guys. If you're like, well, I don't necessarily want to do the Patreon. I don't know if I need an extra episode. Well, you think of whatever it is that you need. Join the Patreon, and then you tell me, and I'll do it. You want me to call your friend and call them an asshole? This is an idea I had, Sarah.
We should do that.
I'll call your friend and call him an asshole. How about that? That's
I was
fun.
also thinking that we could have a thing where we would like have 2 people call in and we could play mediator.
Absolutely.
That
we
would
will
be
do
super
that.
fun.
We should do that. But anything you can dream of can be achieved if you're a patron. And our patrons never ask for anything. They're like, "Hey, can you post my submission?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can just do that." Everyone gets that.
We're like, "Hey, do you guys want to be in the call-in show?" And they're like, "No, I'm okay." And everyone else in the group is like, "Yeah."
I want to get a Becky Karen Patreon member who is like making me her assistant essentially with the amount of labor she's demanding, so that we have to be like, okay,
like
guys,
$5 a month.
Yeah.
Please get my dry cleaning. Get my extra toilet paper.
Guys, please join us on Patreon. We love all our patrons, and we love you. And we'll see you next Monday morning.
Bye.